You take me down for 5 minutes.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
You can connect.
Nitai Gauranga, 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 Hare, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hare, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hare, Jai Satchinandana, Jai Satchinandana, Jai Satchinandana, Jai Satchinandana, Jai Satchinandana, Gaura Hare, Satchinandana, Gaura Hare, Jai Satchinandana, Gaura Hare, Satchinandana, Gaura Hare. Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Nityananda Ram, Jaya Nityananda Ram, Patita Pavana Nityananda Ram, Patita Pavana Nityananda Ram. Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath Swami, Jai Jagannath,
Jaya Jagannath Swami, Jaya Jagannath.
Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Masubhadra,
Jai Baladeva, Jai Masubhadra.
Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Masubhadra,
Jai Baladeva, Jaya Masubhadra.
Jagannath Swami, Nayana Patagami,
Jagannath Swami, Nayana Patagami.
Jagannath Swami, Nayana Patagami, Nayana Patagami, Bhava Tome,
Nayana Patagami, Bhava Tome.
Nayana Patagami, Bhava Tome,
Nayana Patagami, Bhava Tome. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Gora Govinda Swami Guru Deva. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Gora Krishna Swami Guru Deva. Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol.
Pramanam Sankirtan Jagya ki Why are you here? What is your goal? Why are you here? What is your goal? What are you looking for? Are you sure? Do you want Kṛṣṇa or you want Maya? You want to listen to Kṛṣṇa instruction or you want to listen to Maya instruction? We want to be Kṛṣṇa Das or remain Maya Das? Remain Maya Das. Max, what do you think is better?
Definitely Kṛṣṇa.
I think so. So let's continue our discussion of work in Kṛṣṇa consciousness from the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. I know you guys are all so advanced and the Bhagavad Gita seems like you already understand everything. But if we go a little deeper, then we'll start to understand how much do we really understand about Bhagavad Gita? How much we understand about Kṛṣṇa and his speaking of Bhagavad Gita. We're just assuming that we read all of that, we understand all of that. But when you discuss in a very deep way, then you understand we're just reading in a very superficial kind of some thin layer theoretical way. We're not able to go so deep. And understanding says, I think Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said you can speak on one verse for like 1 month or something like this, right? And every word also is unlimitedly wide and deep. So there's no material limitation to eternal, transcendental, spiritual knowledge. So I find it very interesting to just take something that seems very simple and very straightforward, and then to go in depth, and then you realize, wow, there's so many different layers, and so deep, deep philosophy is there. And then you start to maybe second guess that we've assumed too many things, that we think we know already so many things. But as we discussed last night, Arjuna was already had complete faith in Kṛṣṇa as his supreme spiritual master, and completely surrendered to him and took his instructions absolutely. So to be able to do that, to be in that mood and have that level of faith and that level of surrender and that level of eagerness and submissiveness enough to be able to truly hear and understand Kṛṣṇa and get the benefits or the effects of hearing from Kṛṣṇa, this is not a so simple, easy, cheap thing. So sometimes devotees, they say, oh, these people just reading the Bhagavad Gita, they're like, too bad for them, they're like, they didn't get any mercy. You know, they're very simple, not very sophisticated. Sometimes I make a joke, I say, let's read Bhagavad Gita and see all the Sandarbhas from the 6 Goswamis there in the Bhagavad Gita. Let's see if we can understand Bhagavad Gita from an absolute point of view, instead of from a beginner's point of view or an apparent, theoretical, intellectual point of view. Many scholars are there, many PhD scholars, many big so-called sadhus, gurus. They want to speak on 10th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, and the highest Rasa Lila and Rasa Tattva of Goswamis. They're thinking themselves very qualified and very much thinking that they're very eager to hear all of this type of discussion. One time, devotee asked Srila Govinda Swami, can I read Goswamis, 6 Goswamis, Rasa Shastra? And Gurudev said, yes, if you're completely freed from sex life. And his face was like shocked, because that was the standard, that you have to be completely free from bodily concept of life, and you have to be situated in the real swarup, a liberated platform of the soul, to be able to understand and to have the adhikar and the permission to be able to try to go further or deeper in those discussions. So the program, the process of purification, it's a gradual process of purification, and it's a scientific approach that the Srila Rupa Goswami has given us, that the Dao Shraddha, how to understand and accept, have full faith in Kṛṣṇa, unflinching faith in Kṛṣṇa. Full faith would be Kṛṣṇa Prema. But unflinching faith means that Kṛṣṇa has given intelligence to us to realize that we are soul, that we are eternal servants of Kṛṣṇa, that is our duty, responsibility to surrender to Kṛṣṇa, and that Kṛṣṇa is Bhagavan, Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we are meant to render loving devotional service to the Lord. Then Arjuna completely surrendered. I said, now I'm soul surrendered unto you. Now you kindly tell me, preach to me, what is my duty? Tell me exactly, specifically, what am I supposed to do? How do I get out of Maya? How do I get fixed up and qualified to understand what is this path of bhakti or devotional service? So mercy of Kṛṣṇa, then mercy of Guru, Sadguru, Shri Guru, bona fide authorized Guru from Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Parampara, disciplic succession. Then one has to have unflinching faith in Kṛṣṇa and Guru in order to put unflinching faith in the instruction from Kṛṣṇa through the Guru. If the secret of success in spiritual life is to make the instructions of the spiritual master your life and your soul, well, if there's any tinge of doubt or lack of faith in Kṛṣṇa or the Guru, then obviously you're going to have tinge of doubt and lack of faith in the instructions that are coming from Kṛṣṇa through the Guru, and then how you can make it your life and your soul. You can't say, well, I don't really have faith too much in Kṛṣṇa, and I can't hear him, and I don't know about the Guru. Sometimes I feel like he's my Guru, sometimes not. But anyway, he gave me this instruction, and I'm just going to make it my life and my soul. So how is that possible? When Kṛṣṇa convinces us internally and through the spiritual master, bona fide Guru, then we can understand that that instruction is what Kṛṣṇa wants and expects from us. Then we can make it our life and our soul. Then by executing that service dutifully, sincerely, seriously, you get the mercy of Kṛṣṇa, mercy of Guru, mercy of the Shastra, mercy of Bhakti Devi, the process of bhakti, then the gradual process of purification of all of this anarthas and all of this ignorance, tamagun, rajagun, even sattvagun, all of these material modes, all of the different bodily conceptions, bodily attachments on false ego platform, which are making us to identify with the body and the bodily relations. That with that mercy, that all of that unwanted anarthas, all of that illusion can gradually get purified and cleared. Then we can give up action, which is not for the pleasure of Kṛṣṇa. And Prabhupada says that anything that you do that's not for the pleasure of Kṛṣṇa is sinful, more or less. So if we're doing activity, and we'll talk about this tonight, but it's not for the pleasure of Kṛṣṇa, it's not for the, how do you say, to give the senses of Kṛṣṇa pleasure according to his will and desire, then it's selfish, it's independent, and then it's karmic, because then you get sinful reaction even from that so-called pious activity that you think you're doing. But if it's being done for a materialistic purpose, for materialistic desire, whether gross or subtle, that's still sinful. And so the idea is, how can we work in Kṛṣṇa consciousness, doing for Kṛṣṇa's pleasure, so that activity becomes purified and liberated and transcendental, where there is no reaction, there's no karmic reaction from that work. So if we become purified by that mercy in the process, then we can get freed from sinful desire, sinful attachment, sinful activity, and also sinful reactions, and all of that suffering that comes from the sinful reactions. Then one becomes liberated soul. That means Brahmabhuta Prasanatma platform. And that is the start of pure devotional service, Shuddha Bhakti, Prem Bhakti. That means come to Brahmabhuta Shuddha Sattva platform. The seed of Prem Bhakti is planted in the purified heart consciousness of those personalities who received enough mercy by going through that process to become so qualified. They received Bhakti Lata Beach. Sometimes we become devotee and we say, oh, I'm doing bhakti now, so I got this guru and now I have Bhakti Lata Beach. And we're assuming a lot because we don't understand the science and we don't understand the tattvas properly. And so therefore it creates so much misconception and misunderstanding. And if we have many misunderstanding, many misconception, we'll also have a lot of different expectations, and we'll have a false expectations. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, then you have false expectations and you're not seeing the results, then you become confused, you become bewildered, you become morose, that I'm thinking I should receive all of this different type of results, but the result is not really coming there. So we're overestimating our actual adhikar, our actual qualification, because all of the measuring instruments that we're making this assessment with is all faulty. That's the problem. If you have faulty instruments, all your measurements will be wrong, isn't it? So we're coming up using faulty instruments through a faulty process with faulty conclusions, but we're thinking that it's absolute. And because we don't understand the actual science, therefore we are miscalculating our actual position and qualification, and therefore expecting and demanding wrongly based on that false understanding of what we perceive to be our spiritual qualification. So without bona fide guru, who knows all of this thing and can explain us properly, then we'll be left with all of this confusion and delusion and misunderstanding and speculation and faulty process and faulty instruments and a misunderstanding and a lack of understanding of the tattva, the science of Krishna consciousness. That means everything will be confused, everything will be baffled, And so if we're trying to get out of Maya, we already understand how baffling and confusing and suffering and disturbing that condition is. So now we're coming to the spiritual life, and then if we don't take it up in a simple way with the proper mercy and guidance of Krishna and bona fide Guru and Shastra, then we'll easily misunderstand this thing. Many times I talk about that we don't even know what's going on consciously in our life. We're misunderstanding even what's day to day. Oh, he's thinking like this, oh, they're saying like this. We're misunderstanding like many, many things through the course of the day. And we're miscalculating and we're speculating. All of these things, most of it is just made up, it's just a faulty. So we're not even truly understanding on a conscious material platform what is what. And so we also don't understand on subconscious platform, right? Sometimes we think, well, I don't have any desires, I'm not desiring like that, I'm not feeling like that. And we honestly believe it. But the results are showing us, well, then something's wrong. So that means there must be some things there that we're not perceiving, that we're not really understanding, that remains very subtle, below even material consciousness. And we don't understand that either. And now in Tamagun, Rajagun, we're trying to understand what is transcendental, fourth dimensional, Shuddha Sattva, information from Vaikuntha and Kṛṣṇa and Krishna Premi Bhaktas and all of their dham and activities, and all of this thing is on transcendental platform. So we're sitting in this condition and feeling ourselves by pride, arrogance, foolishness, that we are more advanced than we actually are, and that we somehow have the intelligence, the power of mind and senses to be able to understand all of these topics just by some type of scholarly or scholastic or mental speculative approach. And then we're coming to some conclusion, and then because we're trusting ourselves, our intelligence, and our process, then we're also trusting that conclusion. And so we're assuming so many things wrongly based on false information, disinformation, misinformation. Prabhupada said everything in the material world is faulty. Everything here is faulty. So without mercy of Kṛṣṇa, without mercy of Guru, without mercy of Shastra, we cannot properly understand these things. I remember many times Srila Gaura Govinda Swami talking about adhikar. And at first I didn't understand why he just keep talking about adhikar. What is one's actual qualification? And so the pride and the sentimentality and overvaluing, calculating our intelligence, our spiritual position, our ability to understand this false ego platform, then we're coming to all of this type of wrong understanding of ourselves. And therefore, we're having so many misconceptions and so many expectations. And it's a false expectation, because we don't really deserve it, but we think we deserve it. And then when the results don't come as we are expecting, then Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, then you'll become doubtful, and you'll become morose, like it doesn't work. It's not working. Right? So that's the danger, that Maya will say, oh, you're working so hard, you're doing everything. Hare Krishna. You came back, Mataji.
I came back and I brought another friend.
Wow, this is fantastic. I didn't scare you away yesterday, huh?
Come with affection.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. Wow. Hare Krishna. Very enthusiastic. It's all going on. It's all going on. So, all right, I didn't start the class until you guys came, so that's good. I was wondering why I was being delayed. All the students weren't in the class yet. So let's read from Bhagavad Gita. Let's hear Kṛṣṇa instruction. Gantharaj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Gaura Govinda Swami, Srila Gurudeva ki, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki. And a lot of these points you'll see is in this verse, and we can discuss further. But I have to quote the authority, otherwise you think, why I should listen to this man. So we have to always quote the law books. And Prabhupada said these are the law books, especially for next 10,000 years. So bona fide, authorized, Kṛṣṇa directly manifesting in this Bhagavad Gita as it is. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So reading in third chapter, Karma Yoga, and this is action in Kṛṣṇa consciousness, and will be text number 9. Are you ready for text number 9?
Yeah.
Whoa. How was the prasad tonight? It must have been very good. I think so. You made me lose my spot, though. It just jumped off the page, you know? I gotta go back and find that. It was so ecstatic. So this is text number 9. Jagai and Madai. I have them in the front row, you know. These are my friends, Jagai and Madai. These are the resident scholars, Brahmin scholars. Please repeat. Yajñā-arthāt, karmaṇo, nyatra, loko, ayam, karma-bandhanaḥ, tad-arthaṁ, karma, kaunteya, mukta-saṅgaḥ, samācara, yajña-arthāt karmaṇo nyatra, loko karma-bandhanaḥ, tad-arthaṁ karma kaunteya, mukta-saṅgaḥ samācara, yajña-arthāt karmaṇo nyatra, loko karma-bandhanaḥ, tad-arthaṁ karma kaunteya, mukta-saṅgaḥ samācara. Anyone want to try? Yajñārthāt karmaṇo nyatra, loko karma-bandhanaḥ, tad-arthaṁ karma kaunteya, mukta-saṅgaḥ samācara. Yajñārthāt karmaṇo nyatra, loko karma-bandhanaḥ, tad-arthaṁ karma kaunteya, mukta-saṅgaḥ samācara. Yajñārthāt karmaṇo nyatra, loko karma-bandhanaḥ, tad-arthaṁ karma kaunteya, mukta-saṅgaḥ samācara. Yajña-arthāt, done only for the sake of yajña or Viṣṇu. Karmaṇaḥ, than work. Anyatra, otherwise. Loka, world. Ayam, this. Karma-bandhanaḥ, bondage by work. Tat, of him. Artham, for the sake. Karma, work. Kaunteya, O son of Kuntī. Mukta-saṅgaḥ, liberated from association. Samācara, do perfectly. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Kṛṣṇa speaking to Arjuna, and he's explaining that the work or activity that is done as a sacrifice or service for Viṣṇu or Kṛṣṇa has to be performed. Otherwise, that work or activity that you do causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kuntī, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way, you will always remain free from bondage. Please repeat. Work done as a sacrifice or service for Viṣṇu has to be performed. Otherwise, that work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kuntī, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way, you will always remain free from bondage. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Since one has to work even for the simple maintenance of the body, the prescribed duties for a particular social position and quality are so made for that purpose. Yajña means Lord Viṣṇu, or sacrificial satisfaction of Lord Viṣṇu. The Vedas enjoin yajño vai viṣṇu. In other words, the same purpose is served whether one performs prescribed yajñas or directly serves the Lord himself. Actions in Krishna consciousness are therefore performance of yajña as it is prescribed in this verse. The varṇāśrama institution also aims at satisfying Lord Viṣṇu or Lord Kṛṣṇa. Varṇāśrama charavat puruṣena parapuman viṣṇur aradhate, from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 858, quoted in Viṣṇu Purāṇa. Therefore, Prabhupada says, one has to work for the satisfaction of Viṣṇu or Kṛṣṇa, and any other work done in this material world will cause bondage. Any other work that you do besides the work for the satisfaction of Kṛṣṇa, that activity or work will cause bondage in this material world. For both good and evil work have their reactions, and any reaction binds the performer in this karma-bandhanaḥ. Therefore, one has to work in Krishna consciousness to satisfy Kṛṣṇa or Viṣṇu, and while performing devotional service, such activities, one will be in a liberated stage. This is the great art of doing work, and in the beginning, this process requires very expert guidance from bona fide Guru. One should therefore act very diligently under the expert guidance of an authorized devotee of Lord Kṛṣṇa, or under the direct instruction of Lord Kṛṣṇa himself, under whom Arjuna had the opportunity to work. Nothing should be performed for personal sense gratification, but everything should be done for the pleasure and the satisfaction of Kṛṣṇa. This practice will not only save one from the reaction of work, but also gradually purify and elevate one to the transcendental loving service of the Lord, which alone can raise one to the kingdom of God. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshumritam Jana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasade Shri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Again, translation. Work done as a sacrifice of service for Viṣṇu, it has to be performed. Otherwise, that work or activity causes bondage in the material world. Therefore, O son of Kuntī, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way, you will always remain free from bondage or action and reaction. So Prabhupada is saying that anyway, if we're in a material body, according to your nature and your quality and your position within the society, everyone has to do some type of work, some type of activity. Kṛṣṇa said to Arjuna that anyway, by your nature, you're going to be forced to act that way anyway. So if your nature is you're supposed to be a military man, and a fighting person, your nature will force you to do that anyway. So the idea is that if we're forced by our nature and qualities to perform some type of work or activity, well, then why not do that same thing that you're going to end up doing anyway, but instead do it for Kṛṣṇa. So that same activity and work that you would do anyway, if you do it as an act of service or sacrifice to the Lord, then that activity can be prescribed duty or devotional service, sanatana dharma, bhakti. So the idea is that you're going to work in that way anyway, according to your nature. But how do you dovetail that activity consciously in the service of the Lord? This is the art of doing work, or work in action in Kṛṣṇa consciousness. So since we're going to maintain the body, we're going to do some work anyway according to our nature, then how do you do it as a sacrifice or as a service to the Lord? So yajña purusha, that means Lord Viṣṇu or Kṛṣṇa, one is doing this yajña or sacrificial performances are meant for the pleasure of the Lord. All sacrificial performances are also meant for the satisfaction of Lord Viṣṇu. So you can do sacrificial performances according to rules and regulations of the Vedas, and that is a type of activity by, you could say mostly brahmanas, and even those who are participating, or you can do your work according to your nature and your qualities, but also do that realizing that you're servant of Kṛṣṇa and you're engaging that nature and service as a sacrifice to the Lord. Therefore, that work in Kṛṣṇa consciousness for the pleasure of Kṛṣṇa is non-different from performing sacrificial performances by rituals and by yajñas. It's the same. It's because basically it's different ways of trying to satisfy and serve the Lord. Prabhupada says, in other words, the same purpose is served whether one performs prescribed yajñas or one directly serves Lord Viṣṇu according to their qualities and their nature. Actions in Kṛṣṇa consciousness are therefore performance of yajña, as it is prescribed in this verse. So this Daivi varṇāśrama system, it means Daivi means it's being offered according to your service, according to your nature and quality, as devotional service, the sanatana dharma to the Lord. Sometimes I see many people outside in the world, they talk about the caste system in India, and everybody's like very, very critical of this caste system because it became just a way to exploit people according to the varṇāśrama Veda culture. And so people only hear about that type of exploitation and that type of cheating and manipulation to exploit the people. But they don't understand that Prabhupada also explained that everybody has their nature. You know, if you're, a priestly or intellectual, you're going to be like that no matter what culture you're in, no matter which country you're in. If you're a leader or a manager or a politician, that nature, you're going to do the same exact thing, whether you're in India or America or Britain or Russia, because that's your nature, that's your quality. Or if you're a businessman, right, or you're taking care of agriculture and cows, this thing is going on anyway. So all of those qualities and all of those natures and all of those activities are going on automatically because that's the way that this varṇāśrama system is set up. And so the problem is that they forgot the word Daivi, which means that it's meant to be done as devotional service and not in dharma for the pleasure of the Lord. So that's what spiritualizes this concept of varṇāśrama or the caste system, because that caste system is total material consciousness, and you're just manipulating according to your position for a sinful or materialistic purpose. Therefore, it gives bad name to that the Vedic culture or the caste system, right? But actually, that varṇāśrama system means a daivi varṇāśrama, means that according to one's nature and quality, position within the society, one is acting and working, but offering that work in a mood of loving devotion, performing a sanatana dharma. So one is heaven and hell difference between the two systems. One of them is just ordinary varṇāśrama. Other one is a daivi varṇāśrama. And the daivi varṇāśrama means that everyone comes to understand, by mercy of Kṛṣṇa, mercy of Rajarshis, mercy of Brahmin, Vaishnavas, that how to engage your nature and your automatic ability to do a particular function or service within the society. How do you do that in such a way that that can be offered as a service to God, and that the same activity that you're doing, because your motivation and consciousness is transcendental and spiritual, that work will gradually purify you because it's connected to Kṛṣṇa through this daivi varṇāśrama or Sanatana Bhakti, what is it called? The Dharma, right? Sanatana Dharma process. So how do you engage and dovetail intelligence, mind, senses, your nature, your qualities, your work, whatever you can do, how can that be guided? And you, because we're going to do it anyway, now it's just a question of, is it going to be done selfishly for our own sense gratification, or is it going to be done in a way that purifies and elevates our consciousness and can be used as a devotional service or Sanatana Dharma, an offering to the Lord, yajña Purusha. So Prabhupada's basically saying that everyone's going to work anyway, even just to maintain your life and just to eat and just to survive. You're going to do some work and some activity, but the idea is, how do you do that as an act of devotion, as an act of sacrifice for the satisfaction of Viṣṇu or Kṛṣṇa in a mood of devotion, pure devotional service. In other words, Prabhupada says, or in any other work that you do that's not in that consciousness, that's not for that purpose, that will just keep you in this karma-bandhanaḥ, action and reaction, sinful activity, sinful reaction. And even if you're doing pious activity, if your pious activity, even worshipping demigods or doing any type of so-called spiritual activities, if it's materially motivated, any type of material motivation, whether it's subtle or gross, is still considered to be sinful, because it's not for Krishna's pleasure. We're doing for selfish or extended selfish purpose. Therefore, that type of work will just be still considered in this karma-bandhanaḥ system of action and reaction, will not be able to get purified by that work or become elevated or liberated from that type of consciousness. Both good and evil work will still have their reactions. So you can say, well, I'm doing pious activity. I'm building a hospital. I'm building schools and colleges. I'm feeding the poor people. Right? So it's pious. It's some type of humanitarian or social welfare work. But because it's you want a name and fame, or you're doing for money, or you're doing for some type of materialistic purpose, it's still apparently pious, but because it's selfishly motivated, then that will also not purify us or free us from this action and reaction, or sinful activity and sinful reaction. Therefore, Prabhupada says one has to work in Kṛṣṇa consciousness to satisfy Kṛṣṇa or Viṣṇu, and while performing that devotional service, one is thinking, yes, Krishna is Supreme Lord, we are the servant, we're eternal servant of Krishna. I'm using my ability, my nature, my work and activity as an act of a yajña, or sacrifice, devotional service to the Lord. If one is in that consciousness, by sufficient hearing and chanting, general instructions, so if we're tad-arthaṁ, we're nicely hearing and chanting, general instructions, then we'll realize, oh, I'm eternal servant of Krishna, I am disciple of my spiritual master, I am just a das. Therefore, in that consciousness, now let me do some specific seva according to my nature, prescribed duty or service that's given to me from Krishna through my spiritual master. And then while doing that activity in that consciousness, then that work or activity will purify and liberate you, where you can get mercy of Guru and Krishna. You're dovetailing everything in the service of the Lord for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna in order to receive their spiritual blessings and mercy on us. One has to work in Krishna consciousness to satisfy Krishna. And while performing devotional service, one's activities will then be in the liberated stage. If we don't understand adhikar, we don't understand the science, we say, well, I'm working in a Krishna conscious society, and somehow whatever I'm doing, I hope it's satisfying to Krishna. And then it says, because I'm doing that activity, and hopefully it's for Krishna, and hopefully he's accepting it, then that means I'm in a liberated stage. So then we're walking around feeling like, yes, we're devotees, we're pure devotees, we're liberated stage because we're in a Krishna consciousness society and we're doing some seva. And so automatically that means that we're in a liberated stage, liberated state. So you see how easy it is to not fully understand what that actually means, right? As long as we have all of these material desires, and we have all of these anarthas, and we have all of these sinful attachments and sinful reactions, then how are we going to be working in a pleasing way for the pleasure of Lord Krishna? It's explained that Krishna is only interested in pure loving devotional service, Shuddha Bhakti, Prem Bhakti. And in fact, Krishna says, if you come to me not with this mood of rendering pure loving devotional service, then I'll just hide myself from you. So if we are coming in the karma adhikar, or gyan, or yoga, any other type of materialistic, gross or subtle materialistic desire, that's not the Shuddha Bhakti, that's not pure Bhakti. And so at the same time, we're thinking that it's pure devotional service, and we're liberated, and of course it's pleasing to Krishna. And meanwhile, Krishna's hiding from us. So that doesn't add up, does it? And we don't even have a common sense. It's like, if we're all liberated doing pure devotional service and offering with loving devotion, why can I not see or hear Krishna anywhere? So that means Krishna not revealing himself. Krishna says, as you surrender unto me, I reveal myself to you proportionally or accordingly. So if he's not revealing, inside, outside, through the Guru, through the Shastra, through Prasadam, through the deities, in the Dham, then there's a problem with the quality and the quantity of our devotional service. So the results are not matching with our false understanding of our so-called spiritual qualification, and therefore it becomes very confusing, because we're thinking and expecting that we should get more type of revelation and more type of reciprocation, and then why is Krishna, what's wrong with Krishna? right? Kṛṣṇa he has a math problem. We talked about that last night. So Prabhupada said this is the great art of doing work. And in the beginning, this process requires very expert guidance because it's a very, very subtle science. And devotees, they're trying to give us all of the scientific and all of the shastric and all of the, tattvas and all of the subtleties that are required to be able to understand it properly. Otherwise, we'll not even understand how to even really begin to execute it properly. This is the great art of doing work. In the beginning, this process requires very expert guidance. One should therefore act very diligently under the expert guidance of an authorized devotee of Lord Kṛṣṇa. So, if we really want to know what Kṛṣṇa wants us to do, if you're like Arjuna, you can just ask Kṛṣṇa, and Kṛṣṇa will just tell you. If we're not like Arjuna, then we have to hear Krishna's instruction through Krishna's authorized representative, bona fide spiritual master. And then when you receive that instruction from the Guru, Kṛṣṇa inside, as Paramatma Chetu Guru, will give you intelligence and faith to be able to accept that instruction as absolute. Now it says here, one should act very diligently, very seriously, with a great enthusiasm. Right, Sham? Great enthusiasm, diligent enthusiasm. I'm just trying to keep him awake while I'm telling him this. So, without unflinching faith in Kṛṣṇa and the Guru, and the instructions from Kṛṣṇa that we receive through the Guru, that you make those instructions your life and your soul, how do you execute those activities very diligently, very seriously? You'll be shaky and like weak the whole time because of doubts, because of skepticism, suspicion, weakness of the heart, all of this anatta, right? The doubts are like demons, Kṛṣṇa says. And because you have so many demons, it's undermining your faith and your determination and your ability to act diligently, to follow those instructions with life and soul. So we not have sufficient faith and trust in Kṛṣṇa. That's why we don't have sufficient faith and trust in the Guru. That's why we don't have sufficient faith and trust in the instruction. And that's why we don't make it our life and our soul. Many times I explained, Prabhupada said, to make the instruction of the spiritual master your life and soul. And then devotees are like, what were my instructions again? I'm just trying to remember what my instructions were. So obviously they don't make it life and soul. Then that means you don't have a secret of success in your spiritual life, and you don't have the means to receive mercy from Kṛṣṇa and Guru, because that's coming through the proper execution of those instructions. If you render those service and niskapata seva with not even a flinching of a doubt. My Gurudev used to say that even, what was the word? Yeah, what is it? Yeah. If you have a tinge of doubt, then it won't work. And I'm like, wow. A tinge, even if you have a little bit of a doubt, it's not going to work. So that means you have to have unflinching faith in Kṛṣṇa, in Guru, that instruction is coming from Kṛṣṇa through that Guru, then you can make it your life and your soul. Then Kṛṣṇa will convince you, what are you supposed to do? What is your seva that you can do as an act of sacrifice or service for the pleasure of the Lord? And if we don't have that understanding of that action or activity or work, then how do we purify our consciousness? How do we get freed from the action and reaction, sinful actions and sinful reactions, unless we pick up the work? It says that the instructions of the spiritual master that came from Kṛṣṇa, that's a non-different from Guru and Kṛṣṇa. So if we're not making the instructions life and soul, that is our connection to Guru and Kṛṣṇa. That's our connection with what allows us the possibility of receiving mercy and blessing from Guru and Kṛṣṇa. And that mercy and blessing, it manifests in a purification and a spiritual inspiration or knowledge and faith and spiritual strength and spiritual understanding, all the benefits that you can receive. Prabhupada says in the Bhagavatam that all of the benefits or mercy that is available to any living entity, from a Dao Shraddha all the way to Krishna Prema, all of that can only be received in one part of your body, the ears. So when we're crying and begging for mercy, how do you think it's going to be delivered to you? You think it's going to be like DHL package or something? Some shipping company, oh, some mercy was sent to me. Right? So what it is that Kṛṣṇa, in the form of transcendental sound vibration, manifests, enters into the ear. Then we get all of the effects and benefits and faith that is available through the ear, through the hearing. Therefore, Shravanam, Prabhupada says, is first most important aspect of devotional service. Without proper and sufficient hearing from bona fide Guru sent by Kṛṣṇa, then Kṛṣṇa, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, nothing will manifest there. Even you take a mantra from this other type of Guru, Kṛṣṇa is not there in that mantra. It's like having a SIM card in your phone, but it's not activated. It has to be activated. So unless one is bona fide authorized representative in disciplic succession, your mantra is not going to be activated. You have some hot tea? Any questions or points so far? So what Kṛṣṇa wants us to do, if we can understand what that is, by Kṛṣṇa's mercy, Guru's mercy, then you make those instructions your life and your soul, and you try every day to dedicate yourself and execute those instructions, thinking that I'm doing this as a service, devotional service for the pleasure of Guru and Kṛṣṇa. And then while doing like that and thinking like that, then automatically, by their mercy, you'll get the mercy. My Gurudev used to say, don't just sit in some big chair and say, oh Gurudev, where's the mercy? I need mercy. Oh Kripa Sindhu, Kṛṣṇa, you're ocean of mercy, where's the mercy? And Gurudev said, if you go to Kṛṣṇa and you say, yes, you're ocean of mercy, Kṛṣṇa, please shower your mercy. Kṛṣṇa will say, I don't have any. I left it all down there. I left it with my representative. Sorry, I don't have anything left myself. So Krishna's intention to give mercy is through the medium of his representative bona fide spiritual master. So spiritual master is basically like a middleman, has power of attorney to give you Krishna's mercy. Prabhupada said all advancement in spiritual life is more or less completely depending on the mercy of your spiritual master. So you can try to run to Krishna and try to get mercy, but if we're not pleasing the spiritual master, we're not following his instructions, don't expect to get any mercy from the ocean of mercy, Kripa Sindhu. You follow? Don't blame me, this is Krishna's system, set it up like this. I'm just repeating Krishna manual. What is that process? So my spiritual master gave me this instruction to try to help the devotees by sharing this information. So I'm trying to follow my Gurudev's instruction because I need his mercy and his blessing in my personal life. And I'm also doing to also purify and keep my consciousness nice by discussing some very nice topics, and also doing for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna, and try to help the devotees. That's all we're trying to do here. It's not more complicated than that. I can't go do some other seva because Guru and Krishna gave me this seva. And any other type of work or service that I do will just create the karma-bandhanaḥ. It will not purify you, it will not elevate you, it will not liberate. Hey! Get over there! Hare Krishna. Yeah, kids, they need to be disciplined. The parents need to be disciplined. That's the problem. If the parents are disciplined, the children can be disciplined. Right? Is that right, Mataji? Cow lady? Right? You're not disciplined? Children not disciplined? That's a reflection of you. You're responsible for that. Don't blame everybody else. You allow it to happen. You're responsible. Any other question? Yeah. Max, you didn't jump off the bridge? There's no bridges, right? Don't give him any ideas, man. I'll get blamed for that.
Hare Krishna, Srila Gurudev.
Hare Krishna, Max.
Gurudev, I've noticed I've got some really deep-rooted attachments that I don't like, and I was hoping...
We got kids here now.
Maybe I could open my heart to you and share...
Don't open it here, man. Don't open it here. This will be very dangerous. Be able to sleep peacefully, nicely tonight. What else?
One I definitely can share with you in front of everybody else.
You what?
There's one that I definitely can share in front of everybody else, if that's okay with you. Is that I'm actually really attached to listening to my own thoughts, even though I know that they're not what's best for me. And they just take me on a ride, and it happens so often. And a lot of the time, you know, I'm having...
He sounds like a folk singer, you know? He's just telling a story, you know? Sometimes I'm just riding on the road and I'm just thinking about life, and many thoughts come to my mind, and thinking back in that old place I came from.
I mean, really, I'm just addicted to mental speculation.
He's just taking us for a ride, you know? We're just sitting on the old train, just going up the road, and Max is telling us a story, playing on his guitar. I get a sad life, man. It all started back in Louisiana, singing the blues.
These thoughts, they're so powerful.
Wow. It's just unbelievably powerful.
I know I shouldn't listen to them, but it's not my energy. It's not my mind.
It's
Mine
not
doesn't
cool,
belong to
right?
me.
It's not cool. It's not very cool. It's not working, right?
It's not working.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I need help. Like
No, it
real
doesn't help at all. So, what else can we do for you, Max?
I don't know, but I'm at a point in my life where I need help.
It's just me and you, Max, you know what I mean? We're just having a conversation.
Today, I realized...
Nobody's listening. It's like...
Today I realized why I'm having such a hard time surrendering to Kṛṣṇa, and that's because I actually have like this really deep-rooted envy.
Oh!
And it's actually been with me even since childhood.
It's been there a long time, has it? Very deep-rooted problem.
So, you know, at this point I'm kind of just done trying my own methods, and I'd like to ask you for help.
I thought you already asked me for help.
I did, didn't I?
I did what?
Okay,
I thought so.
I was hoping there's like a next step that I could take in this direction. Because I'm suffering, you know? A lot of the time.
Max, how did I get so lucky?
How did I get so lucky, Gurudev?
How did I get so lucky? We're preparing the next revolution right now. We want to turn him into a revolutionary. He wants to go from a folk singer to a revolutionary.
A devotee?
Hmm? Of course, devotee.
Of Kṛṣṇa, not Maya.
Yeah. Thank you, Max.
Thank you, Srila Gurudev, for listening to me and hearing what I have to say.
Hmm?
Thank you for hearing what I have to say.
What did you say? He never said what he was going to say, right?
I need help.
All right. I'm so enthusiastic to try to help you. Anybody else? Max is bumming us out, you know? He's making us all depressed, you know? Yeah, he's like a downer. It'll never work. It's all bad, it's all negative. What's the use?
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you one more thing, Srila Gurudev.
You still have that mic?
Yes. Is there any service that I can do for you that you would accept and offer to Kṛṣṇa?
I don't know. We'll have to pray on that one. Right now you're just dealing with your envious mind. So I'm not sure what kind of quality of service you're going to be able to do.
You're right, and the attachments that I have is not helping either.
Yeah, that's also another issue that we're not going to talk about right now. Yeah. Next.
Thank you, Srila Gurudev.
Thank you. Kṛṣṇa. Now you have big basket on your head, huh? Not easy. Maybe you need another child. Then 3 is like a lucky, right? If you have like 3. Everything in 3s is like good. Anybody else on a more serious note? Yes? Another stalwart, Deva? What a lineup here tonight, huh? I feel like this is really like the lowest of the low, you know? We're like the deplorables, you know? Unacceptable anywhere else. But still happy in spite of it all, right? So?
Hare Krishna, Srila Gurudev.
Hare Krishna.
So first you were saying...
Is it too late for me to get out of this, or? Maybe it's too late.
So first you were saying that all the mercy is from Adalshraddha to Prema is only received through the ear.
Yeah.
But then you were saying that by performing the service, we were receiving mercy by executing those instructions. We were also receiving mercy.
Are you trying to trick me? How did you get the instruction to do the service? Where'd you get the instruction?
By hearing it.
And then while you're doing the instruction, what are you hearing? Oh, I'm servant of, you're remembering and hearing Kṛṣṇa, Guru's instruction. I'm servant of Kṛṣṇa, I'm servant of Guru and Kṛṣṇa. I received this instruction from Kṛṣṇa through my spiritual master. The instructions are non-different from Kṛṣṇa, from Guru. By doing this in the mood of devotion, not grumbling and complaining, faithfully executing niskapata seva, you're remembering and hearing all of the instructions that you receive from Guru and Kṛṣṇa while you're executing that seva. So how do you say you're not hearing while executing the seva? You get it? So first you have to hear it by mercy of Guru and Kṛṣṇa, then it's inside of you. Then when it's inside of you, then when you need to remember those things while you're executing that service, then Kṛṣṇa Paramatma Chetaguru, Shri Guru, will remind you of what you had previously heard. If it's not put there, and you don't consciously, faithfully understand it and accept it, then you won't be able to remember it or hear it again. First you have to capture it, first you have to catch it. Then once it's there, it's like recording. So once the recording goes there, then whenever you need that information, when you're going through something, then Kṛṣṇa will say, remember when Gurudev was telling like this? This is that situation. This is how you can handle that situation or look at that thing properly and then execute it in the right consciousness with the right motivation. Many times the spiritual master teach us something, but we don't really fully understand it. And then some time will go by, even years may go by. And then you'll find yourself in a situation, and then Kṛṣṇa will remind you, do you remember when I told you through Gurudev, through my representative, this instruction, this situation? Now here it is. This is that situation he was talking about. This is how you can understand it. This is how you can overcome it. This is how you can execute instruction even in the middle of a big test or circumstance. So you have to have first heard it and captured it, understood it as best as you can. But then life and your experience will bring up that opportunity to really understand what is it. Then you'll get your own experience, and Kṛṣṇa will remind you of what you previously heard, so that you'll be able to understand that circumstance properly and how to overcome it. So it's like a recording, stored recording. And I was thinking, well, why should you cry? And then one day I was in children sick, everybody's crying, everyone's completely uptight. And I'm like, Kṛṣṇa, how did I get in this situation? This is unbelievable. And then Gurudev came in my mind and said, remember when I told you that Grihastha ashram will make you cry? Here it is. Now you know what it means. So many things you hear, you don't really, okay, you're just trying to capture it, but then may not fully understand it. Because time, place, circumstance has to also be present in order to fully grasp it, understand it. And then those instructions will be reminded, then you'll hear those instructions, okay, this is that situation, a circumstance that Guru and Kṛṣṇa reminded you of before. That's what you're hearing. So every time I'm preaching, I'm hearing my Gurudev's instructions. So what I heard, what I'm hearing, then I'm speaking. So it's also hearing. Prabhupada said one who's very expert in hearing, they can be very expert speaker. Because they heard properly, understood properly, therefore they can explain it properly. You don't hear nicely, you don't understand it, then how you can speak it properly? What are you going to speak? You'll just be rambling on. Make sense? So when Arjuna is now agreed to fight in the battle of Kurukshetra, while he's fighting, he's remembering Kṛṣṇa. He's remembering Kṛṣṇa. He gave me this instruction. This is the reason, the purpose for this battle. This is what Kṛṣṇa wants me to do. I'm doing for his pleasure. So you're remembering everything that you heard. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Any other thing? Any other point? Yeah? Because he's doing for own sense gratification. And then him fighting and killing, because Kṛṣṇa wanted him to fight and kill, that's a dharma. That's why we have to specifically know what does Kṛṣṇa want us to do. What is our dharma? What is our instruction? What will be pleasing to Kṛṣṇa? What can we do? Kṛṣṇa will say what we can do that he will accept and be pleased by. If we do that work, then you'll get purified and liberated and free from this karma-bandhanaḥ. Any other work that you do besides that will be sinful, adharma, and will not purify and liberate you, and it will keep you in the karma-bandhanaḥ, action-reaction, sinful activity, sinful reaction. That's why it's so important to know exactly. When Arjuna said, what can I do? Kṛṣṇa didn't say, well, do anything and just offer it to me. He said, tell me decisively, specifically, what do you want me to do? How can I please you? What is my service to you? Don't try to find a guru. Prabhupada said, try to find the guru. Try to find Krishna's own man. Otherwise, how you'll hear Krishna's instruction? Prabhupada said, if you're like Arjuna, you'll hear Kṛṣṇa directly, from the lips to the ear. If you're not like Arjuna, then Kṛṣṇa only speaks through his disciplic, not surrender to Kṛṣṇa and have full faith in Kṛṣṇa and think that you can say anything right. Absolute, and sometimes it's not. But that's a whole nother subject matter. He's thinking he's giving some good advice. Besides that, outside of that, is all faulty, is all maya. They have some knowledge. I just wait till they try to explain what is process of authorization and what is their understanding of parampara, discipline, process. Those four things, parampara, discipline. So how you never heard this before? And my question is, well then what have you been hearing? Day, month after month, year after year. Oh, this is like, I never heard this before, this is like some deviation. What have you been hearing? So that's why Prabhupada said, unless you catch up disciplic succession parampara, Krishna only speaks through his parampara disciplic succession. Or directly, right? Prabhupada said in this purport, one should therefore act very diligently under the expert guidance of an authorized devotee of the Lord, of Lord Krishna. If you're like Arjuna, directly Krishna will tell you. If we're not like Krishna, or we're not like Arjuna, then we have to hear through Krishna parampara disciplic succession. Otherwise, Krishna does not speak to us in any other way. Oh, Krishna came in my dream, and oh, Krishna was telling me this and this and that. The only intelligence Krishna will give you, Paramatma Chaitya-Guru, is who is pure via medium of Krishna, who is your Guru, and then every other thing that Krishna wants to tell you will come through that Guru, not directly to you. So Tamagun, Rajagun, material consciousness, so much material desire, telling me this morning. They're cooking in the barbecue and say, yeah, Krishna, God came and told, we had a conversation this morning. It's all mental speculation. That's why Prabhupada said, only thing that's absolutely true and perfect is a Maya. Prabhupada says it in the Purport. We never heard this before. Every purport, every page. Krishna, the Shastra is non-different from Krishna. Krishna is the speaker of the Bhagavatam. So if we're not coming in the mood of bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti, Prem Bhakti, you cannot see Krishna in the pages, you cannot hear Krishna in the pages of the Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. He'll keep himself hidden